And today, hundreds of thousands of students are unable to attend classes because of a 3-day strike in the second largest school district in the country. Support staff are leading this strike in Los Angeles, 35,000 teachers joining them in solidarity. The workers say that their salaries are so low that many are at risk of living on the streets.
30,000 workers for the union representing support staff like teachers' aides, bus drivers, custodians. They're planning to strike for 3 days. Also, teachers from the school district are planning to join in solidarity. So that means hundreds of thousands of kids will not be going to school for the next couple of days. Now, the news comes after failed negotiations between the district and the union earlier on Monday. The union wants a 30% raise. Now, they say average salaries for support staff total about $25,000 a year, and that puts many of them below the poverty line, especially when you factor in inflation and the rising cost of housing. The school district is countered with a 23% raise offer and a cash bonus and says the door is open to continue negotiations.
$25,000 a year, that is what they did mention is this average salary there for the support staff in many of the LAUSD schools and buildings. So we've got a strike happening. And by the way, it's not just the first day of this whole negotiation and talk back and forth, of course, as you know how these things go. They've been doing this for a minute. And even before the strike was official, they were also outside of City Hall doing these protests. Here's an image of that before the rain came, which has happened pretty much all day today. They're also in solidarity, as they pointed out. And they're looking to raise their salaries and a couple of other things as well, but they're hitting this dead end. So these things have been failing, but there's a thing, these district officials did point out that they did not get in all the way there on this salary demand. You can see what they did offer though, but they had upped their offer considerably in a series of moves over several days. So by Monday morning, just yesterday, the offer was, according to LA Schools, this is according to LA Schools and their terminology, Superintendent Alberto Carvalho says more than 20% cumulative over several years as salary and a 3% bonus and a massive expansion of health coverage to include more members of that union and their families. Union Executive Director Max Arias said a primary goal of the union has been to raise the average annual wage of members from $25K to $36K. The union is also seeking expanded hours and more full-time positions so they can at least work some of those hours and make some of this money. But again, think about, people talk about how expensive California, specifically Los Angeles is, from housing and everything else, but you've got people that work in the second largest school district in the entire country making $25,000. I think that's average. So here's some of the demands from this union that wanted something more. 30% pay raise rather than at 23, an additional $2 an hour over the next 4 years. Increased employment hours for part-time workers. And the latest offers announced by the LA school district said this, that 23% plus a 3% cash in hand bonus and it's $20 an hour minimum wage, as we mentioned, some of those healthcare benefits. So they have this issue happening. Who knows when it gets to this point, but I think for the next 2 or 3 days, this is gonna continue to happen. And these things get brushed under the rug, but for the time being, we'll see if some of these folks who have to actually, let's say, live and maybe get to work, have the ability to do so. No, I'm not deep into the finances of LAUSD, Ben, but as they pointed out, I feel like there's a bit of cash flow. Maybe they need to reposition and reconfigure where they're spending.
I don't know. I'm not sure that I understand why custodians, cafeteria workers, bus drivers need a living wage. You know, that's sort of where I get confused. Is like they're not directly in the classroom teaching the kids. They're doing the stuff that keeps the school sure safe and clean and keeps the kids fed and like gets them quote unquote to work. I mean, to school and back from school, but like also kids could walk or like run maybe, you know what I mean? Hit those streets themselves. Maybe they could like dig up. Yeah, they could dig up like in the school garden, see if they get some herbs they could eat instead of a whole lunch. I feel like these people are being greedy, wanting to be able to get paid and also be able to live on that money. Seems like you're asking a lot.
It's one of those things. Maybe they should be woke and find a way to get something from the government that makes sure that certain folks don't have the same opportunities. It's all about that opportunity. And if they're kids, you know, because these folks could possibly have kids, so they can have an opportunity for a future as well.
That's why, JR, that's exactly, you hit it on the head. This is woke culture run amok again. These people being so woke, wanting to get paid enough they could survive. It's like, how about just keep things as they are and Don't make us suffer with all of your needs and all of your quote unquote necessities for survival. It's
Shoes
like,
and
whoa,
stuff. What's the
PC
matter?
culture. Yeah, shoes and food and being able to make sure your kids are okay, even though you're taking care of the public's kids. You also got to take care of your own kids. It seems greedy.